A pleasant good evening, everyone. Um, so I'm a bit shy, I would not lie, so y'all would help me sing tonight. Hail, Grenada, land of Oz, we pledge ourselves to thee. Heads, hearts, and hands in unity to reach our destiny. Ever conscious of God, being proud of our heritage, may we with faith and courage aspire, build, advance as one people, one family. God bless our nation.
Remain standing, everybody, as Miss Jacinta Livingston will sing the Patty song. Count on me, working for my party, faithful I will be. I will fight with all my might, working for the NNP. Thank you, you may have your seats. NNP 8! I now invite your constituency lead for South St. George, Mr. Kenneth Noel, to do the welcome.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. As I stand here and I look at your faces, I see optimism, which is good. So it seems as though that the future would be a very bright one, given the enthusiasm not only displayed here, but throughout different parts of the country. So far, we had about 2 rallies, and you can see the motivation and the vibes of the people. So I think the people are ready to go. So on behalf of the St. George South constituency management team, and on my behalf as the constituency lead, I would like to welcome everyone to this evening's meeting. Let me first of all say that, let me also recognize our political leader. Let me also recognize Brother Oliver Joseph. Let me also recognize Brother Gregory Bowen and Attorney at Law Dwight Horsford. The purpose of this evening's meeting basically is to bring you all up to date as to the developments, politically and economic developments that is taking place in Grenada. For example, we saw recently that during the last parliamentary meeting, Parliament is a place where people come to discuss the happenings of a country. And both governments and opposition would discuss their point of view as to how things are moving in Grenada. Unfortunately, when the opposition leader was about to give his remarks on one particular point, his remarks was suspended, which was undemocratic and unfounded. There was no grounds for the suspension of the political remarks. So these are some of the things that are happening in this country. The voices of the people are being stifled. People are scared to express themselves. People are scared to come to meetings. And as far as I could recall, it takes me back many, many years. When that sort of feelings was throughout the country many years ago. There was a period in Grenada when people were free to express themselves. People were free to come to meetings. But 10 years ago, 15 years ago, there were no restrictions on people's movements. But what we see creeping in over the last 2 years plus, it's a reversal back to what transpired many, many years ago, which is unfortunate. Because a country could never develop if people are not free to express themselves, because development comes from ideas. Ideas is what pushes a country. You must have different ideas. People must not be scared to express themselves. And probably that is one reason why the country is stagnating, or the country is at that standstill. As our leader would mention many times in the recent past, when he goes around the country, nobody's around. In particular, places like St. John's, Bowen, Renville. It's like a ghost town. Now, that is a reflection of that whenever there's no money in circulation in a country, people stay home. People don't go out, they don't relax, they don't go to the shops, they don't recreate themselves. So it therefore shows you that the economic policies of the government is not working. Because someone remarked that if there's a policy, I would support that. Now, when you stifle people's spending powers via retrenchment, via firings, it means that the demand in the country decreases. When demand decreases, the economy goes back in reverse gear. Because what really gets an economy going is spending. You hear people talking about GDP, this GDP, that, GDP increasing. GDP only increases when there is spending, either from consumers, or from investments, or from government, or from exports. But we see that all of these variables are in a reversal gear. So obviously, the economy would decline. Now, even though they say they had a 5% growth, but I'm sure most of that growth came from the sale of passports. Sale of passports. So the sale of passport doesn't really truly reflect the happenings in the economy. So we are in trouble. I would not take too much of the other speaker's thunder, because my task is just basically to welcome you all to the South and to hear the discussions from our various speakers this evening. So once again, on behalf of the management team in South St. George, I'd like to welcome you all to this evening's meeting and hope we have a very productive discussion. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Noel. And now we get down to business. Brothers and sisters, tonight we are here to get the truth. It is often said, speak the truth, for the truth shall set you free. He is a distinguished lawyer based in Grenada, known for his expertise in civil and criminal law, with a commitment to justice and a deep understanding of the legal landscape. Mr. Dwight Horsford provides exceptional legal representation and guidance to clients across the region. His dedication to upholding the rule of law and advocating for his clients' rights has earned him a reputation as a trusted legal advisor in Grenada's legal community. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome Mr. Dwight Horsford.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Grenadian rebirth is truly on its way. The delivery that we promised.
Thank you very much, Madam Chairperson, and a pleasant Good evening to you, my sisters and brothers, sons and daughters of Grenada. Before I begin my brief remarks, allow me to recognize the distinguished brethren at the head table, our political leader, the Right Honorable Dr. Keith Mitchell, and one of the greatest stewards of the party, our deputy political leader, Brother Gregory Bowen, and our distinguished chairman, Brother Oliver Joseph. Sisters and brothers, we are here as we have been in a number of these zonal meetings with you because these are very serious times. Our country is in trouble. Our country is in trouble. And this year, the New National Party is celebrating 40 years as a dynamic and successful political organization in Grenada. And that is a great milestone. But sisters and brothers, you know what is even greater than marking 40 years as a political organization in Grenada, but 40 years as the only political organization that restored democracy in Grenada. Only one. Only one. So when they try to beat us up with the half-baked political hitmen who strike some luck and they feel that they are some gurus and tell us that we are a dying party, joke they're making. 40 years going onward and upward, keep it moving. And we will show them. They want to learn politics? They will learn it. But sisters and brothers, we have serious business to discuss with you just briefly. And if you allow me some time and you lend me your ears for just a few minutes, I want us, before we consider all the many things that are happening in the country, and some of my brethren on the platform who are speakers will tell you a lot about what is happening. Never must we forget, never must we allow ourselves to put God out of our thoughts and forget our sisters and brothers in Carriacou and Petit Martinique. Because as we gather here this evening, we are going to return home to comfort. They don't have that luxury. And we must keep them in our minds, we must keep them in our thoughts and our prayers, and we must continue, sisters and brothers, as good Grenadians and as good patriots, to continue to help them the best way we can. Each of us can do something small, no matter what it is, with anybody that you know that you can send to help our sisters and brothers in Carriacou. And that is needing more now than ever, because you see, we have a government that seems not able to do it, or not interested in doing it. And so I won't speak too much about that, because I know my brethren will deal with that. But keep them uppermost in your thoughts, sisters and brothers. They are sisters and brothers. They are Grenadians. Friends, I started a while ago by telling you that our political organization was the organization in Grenada that restored democracy after so much trauma and bloodshed in this country. So we know more than any other political organization in Grenada what it takes to run country. We know what it takes to run country in good times, and we know what it takes to run country in crisis. And you know, even better, we have a skill of taking country after an NDC crisis and building it back better than it was before. Because we have one now. We have a crisis. And a crisis on so many levels. We have a crisis in leadership. We have a crisis in policy. We have a crisis in the economy. You have a crisis in the management of crime, and I could go on and on and on and on and on. Crisis. But you know, the new National Party is coming to the rescue, sisters and brothers. And that is why we are here with you this evening. And so as I began with my discussion about democracy and pointing out that we had to take the mantle of restoration in Grenada, now more than ever it is important that you, the members, you, the soldiers, you, the sisters and brothers of the new National Party, you, friends, must be vigilant about our democracy. This democracy is a fragile thing. It is not just about the election. An election come and go, and we put on some party colors. We whine, we jam, we have some nice music, and we like we candidate. But it is something that we can lose if the wrong people end up in the corridors of power. When the wrong people, people who do not care about people, people who are concerned with becoming millionaires overnight, end up in the corridors of power. Crapo smoke with pipe. And we have a job to do. On the 1st of September, when I spoke at our last meeting in the Trade Center, I sounded a caution. And the caution was that they pardon the voters list. Our eyes are on the Parliamentary Elections Office because democracy is an even playing field and we want a fair process. And this is a commitment of our party. We were founded on a commitment to democracy. So who vexed about we talking about the Parliamentary Elections Office and the process? That is their business. That is our democratic right. And we are here to fight for our democracy, sisters and brothers. We ain't sleeping, and we're not going to sleep on this. This is too important. And so, I cautioned you that you must remember that our canvassing is of central importance. Canvassing the voters list. Because when you canvass the voters list properly, you will pick up those persons who are illegally registered. People who you know do not live in the constituency. And a lot of them, not some, a lot of them, you know, have not been living in Grenada. This is no joke, sisters and brothers. Because we know what we are experiencing under this administration. And tell me which one of you want to continue to live under that. Which one of you? None of us. And so, canvass the list. Do not sleep on this. Pay attention to the addendum that come out and go through it with a fine-tooth comb. Because we will be taking necessary action. I know this is Beaming Live, so I wouldn't elaborate on what it is that we are doing, but this is of central importance to us. It's of central importance to us. But also, while we do these important things, you know what also is of critical importance? Register our people. There are some young people in our NNP homes and we are neglecting them. We are not talking to them about the politics. We are not getting them interested. We are not getting them registered. Some of you have sons and daughters and grandchildren that turn 18 and 19. Get them on the voters list, sisters and brothers. Don't sit on this. And so while we focus on our vigilance, we must ask the Almighty to steady our hand and steady the hand of our leadership in the party to continue to foster and to have that wisdom and that foresight and to have vision. Because NNP is known for vision. Because those without vision have no destiny. We have no destiny. And we, sisters and brothers, we are prepared with the help of each and every one of you to do our part, to do what is necessary to safeguard the democracy in this country. So I ask you, after our proceedings tonight, do not neglect to do the canvass work. Do not neglect to register our children and grandchildren of voting age. This rescue mission requires all of us. And let us continue to go onward and upward, sisters and brothers. Just keep it moving. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Horsford. Padding the voters list, brothers and sisters, is a very, very serious issue, and we must remain vigilant. We sympathize yet again with our brothers and sisters in Carriacou. We stand with you, and we will rescue you. NNP, are you ready to vote again? If you're ready, say house. If you're ready, say house, house, house. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to introduce to you this man, a distinguished former member of Parliament for St. David's in Grenada, with a steadfast commitment to public service and community development. Mr. Joseph has played a pivotal role in shaping policies that have positively impacted the lives of many Grenadians. His dedication to economic growth, education, and social equity has earned him respect and admiration both locally and internationally. Please join in welcoming Mr. Oliver Joseph.
Thank you very much, Madam Chairperson, members of the head table, our political leader, Dr. Mitchell, Dr. Horsford, Dr. Gregory Bowen, deputy political leader, your constituency lead. I'm extremely pleased to be here to join you at this meeting. You know, 1 year ago, we attempted to have a meeting in St. David's, and people expressed fear that if they turn out, they may be victimized. And so we went out in the field and talked to people and give them hope. But today, brothers and sisters, we are going throughout the length and breadth of Grenada holding these meetings, and I'm amazed that it turned around when I see the crowd. I looked at the women's arm meeting. It said, St. David's, you're entitled to only 2 buses. The people say 2 from St. David's, no. When they come and say, how many buses you could full? They tell me 4. 4 buses going up to the women's arm. Everywhere we go now, our supporters are coming out and showing their support. Brothers and sisters, don't underestimate that, in politics, numbers matter, It's the numbers. We need the crowd. We need the people to come out and support us. And that's why we're here tonight with you, to bring you the message of what is happening and give you hope and let you know that a new national party is with you. And so, tonight, briefly, I want to touch on the question of pension. So, you know that's a big issue. At the last general election, that was a major issue. And the government made so many promises. I will refresh your memory on some, because you need to remind them of what they said, you know. But let me tell you a story. I told Brother Bowen about it. Pick up Michael. Michael family strong NNP. The last election, Michael told me, I don't think I could vote for NNP again. I said, why? He said, well, 7 years now and I'm still not permanent. He said, but I hear Deacon say making us permanent with the stroke of a pen. And so I giving him a chance. He said, no, I'm voting for him. I met Michael last week. I gave him a drop. I said, Michael, which ministry they make you permanent in? He said, permanent? He said, I don't want to hear about these people and they could lie too much. I said, you remember the conversation? I told you, if it's one party and if it's one prime minister that could make people permanent would be Dr. Mitchell. And if he didn't do it, you must know that we are looking at alternatives than making you permanent in the public service. I heard the Prime Minister say now, if we make everybody permanent and we have to pay everybody pension, the country go bankrupt. But Dr. Mitchell, they warned him about that, you know, all in Parliament. Dr. Mitchell said, well, go ahead. Go and make everybody, 3,000 and something people. You go bring them on to the public service? Go ahead and do it. Now he's saying, we can't do that now, the country go bankrupt. Let me give you a next story. I joined the party 1 month before the 2013 election, 1 month, in January, when Dr. Mitchell called me and said, the candidate for St. David's got himself in some altercation and he was charged by the police. He said, well, we cannot run him as the candidate. So he said, I want you to run. I said, me, I have a regional job, you know, and I'm getting good money, good pay. He said, no, man, this thing is not about pay. You're coming to serve the country. A man as you, we need you to come. I said, all right, I'll come forward 1 month before the election, you know. When we win the election, have we cabinet meeting? No money to pay salaries. I say, oh, what I come in that and do? But you see, I should have known. I was working in Barbados 3 years prior. But I should have known that there was no money because the government was selling assets to pay salary. And if you're selling out assets just to pay salary, and you call election, and the month you call it, the month before you sell asset, and you call election, obviously there is no money, but nobody has to tell you that. I said, well, people, I should at least, if I in a sense, I should be educated enough to know that. So, no money. So I getting scared now. I said, Lord, what you put me in? No money to run country. Where you ever hear? You can't even run your home without money to run country. And you have this big wage bill to pay every month. So I said to myself, I know Dr. Mitchell is a mathematician. I didn't know he's a magician. I say, well, it's only magic. You have to work now. So next thing, mountain come. I see salary pay on time, you know. And every month thereafter, salary paid on time. Every month. When this government come, compared to when this government come, they say they meet a treasury pregnant with money. You remember that? Over 500 million, you know. They say all who think they're entitled to pension come for money. We have a lot. So everybody go and file. Well, if you think you have a claim, you go in and file. Let it tell you no or yes. And they paid out money, man. So they said, well, coming now, the young people say, yes, well, you pay everybody the pension, so we want to be permanent now, and when we retire, we want to be pension. So that is what I'm going to address tonight. That was just the precursor. But I like your attention. That is one of the best crowd I ever addressed. I like how you pay close attention. So, in the colonial time, because we got independence in 74, right? But in 1958, during colonial rule, a pension act was passed where public officers, if you employ with the state on a permanent basis, you will get a gratuity and a pension. At that time, you had to work for 33 and 30 years. Was years, that was the first qualification, you know. 33 and 30 is only the trade union negotiated with government. I was in the trade union at the time, that's why I remember it so good, to bring it down to 26 and 2/3. And you know which government that was in office that time? Guess who? NNP. When they approach NNP and say, no, 33 and 1/3, well, as soon as you get your money, you're dead. All these years, 26 and 2/3. That's why you reach down, you know. It's through negotiations. The party that did the most for workers in this country is the New National Party. So in 1958, now you have to follow me because I'm taking it in chronological order. But all this big word mean I'm taking it the other time. So I'll start with 58, I'll end up in 2020. I'll end up now, right, to now. In 1958, Pension Act passed, and as I said, you had to make 33 and 30 years, and you had to be appointed by the Public Service Commission. So if you was not appointed by the Public Service Commission, you had no pension to get. Because it was really intended for the British subjects and the people who came from outside and work. And that went on until 1983. On the 4th of April, 1983, the PRG, the People's Revolutionary Government, passed the Pension Disqualification Act. So NNP know it yet, you know, from 58 to 83, you know. So anytime they tell you it was NNP that gets rid of pension, ask them who was in power in 1983. NNP was not there. Dr. Mitchell was not even in politics yet. 1983. He said he wasn't even in the country. Yeah. So, in 4th of April 83, the PRG passed the Pension Disqualification Act, and they replaced it with the NIS that we have today, National Insurance Scheme. The reasoning behind that is said, well, some people working side by side, some getting pension and some not getting. We want a scheme for everybody. But the scheme must be that everybody will contribute. The government will contribute, and the employee will contribute, and they establish the National Insurance Scheme. So in 1983, coming on. In 1985, the matter went to the court where a public officer retired and was not paid pension. And the court held that if you join the service, and that is an important point, between 83 and 85, because, well, in 83 there was chaos in Grenada. So while the act was passed, it was not gazetted. And for it to be a law, it must be gazetted. And it was gazetted only in 1985. So the court held that you could only come from 1985, not from 1983. So all the people who joined between 83, 84, 85, they then became entitled, yes, to the pension. So NNP set up a pension secretariat and said, well, everyone that joined between that time come forward when you claim 56 people, well, more than that came forward, but 56 people were qualified. And it cost the new National Party government $7 million paid out in pension. $7 million, you know. So when you hear the saying, they are the first government to pay pension, remind them about the $7 million that the NNP paid out to workers between that period of time. And incidentally, there is a current serving minister who benefited, you know, who got his pension and gratuity. He left, and he didn't get anything. And after that, when NNP said they will pay, he benefited. So he could correct them when they're saying that they are the first to pay. And say, no, well, I got my pension during NNP. That is what he had to say. Well, if you don't say the next time I'm addressing the pension issue, I'll call his name then. So everybody will know. But you see, I did not ask Brother Dwight Horsford for permission. I didn't ask Brother Dwight for permission to call the gentleman's name and to make sure I won't be sued. So the next time I'll seek permission, I'll call the name of the sitting minister who benefited in the pension and said, you benefited and you know the truth. And if you don't go and say, yes, you receive it, I will continue to call your name. So because we need to expose them. So we in 1985. But then we continue and negotiations started. The NNP government said, well, we could meet to the union and negotiate a new pension arrangement because the people who are not entitled to pension, we want to put forward a system for them and let's have negotiation. They then decided they're taking the matter to the court. Now, remember, up to this time, to 2020, no other government paid the pension to no worker. Remember, you had NDC was there twice, you know, before it, during the period of time, you know. They never paid, you know. They never paid. They never paid it. They were there up to 2013, 2008, 2013, you know. Recent, you know. And they were there from 90 to 95, you know. They don't pay it. So, but we decided that we're going to look at a scheme, an arrangement, so that workers can benefit. The matter went to court. Took a long time in the court. And in March of 2022, the court ruled that the Pension Disqualification Act that I mentioned to you before, that was passed by the PRG, is unconstitutional and of no effect. So they squashed it. So they said, all workers appointed by the Public Service Commission from then entitled to get their pension. Yes. So they get rid of the Pension Disqualification Act. That's the ruling. Came to the cabinet. Cabinet discussed the matter. And we've decided that we would not challenge the ruling of the court. We would not. Anything else you hear to the contrary is not factual. I'm giving you the facts. And they could check and you could go back and look at the cabinet conclusion, you know. Right? You could look at it where the cabinet took a decision not to challenge the decision. And that we will make arrangements to pay the pension because we have a history of paying. Election was called in June, as you know. So we did not have time to start paying. And during the campaign, all the big promise about paying everything was made. And they came in, and as I said, they met over $500 million in the Treasury. You know. Minister Bowen was the Minister of Finance at the time, you know. And he's right here, he could verify the figures. Well, people start to cost me. You say, what you leave all this money there for? All this money, I say the money is not mine, it's the taxpayers' money, and we put it, they give us to manage, right? And we are going to pay the pension from this and all other things we had to do. So we in 2022 now. So after election come, it's the pension secretariat, and they put it in the same office we had ours, the pension secretariat. So it was not the first time they were setting up a pension secretariat, and they used some of the same people that we set up where we had to pay the first time. And they made the payment, and so they said, you will see a big turn, big growth in the economy, everything will be buoyant. And okay. What they did not take into consideration was the age group of the people they were giving the money to. You know what happened? Look at the IMF report and see what the liquidity is. All the liquidity means is the amount of money the bank have holding. The liquidity in the bank shoot up. That's where they put the money, Well, if you put the money in the bank, how the economy growing? The bank make money when you go and borrow, And the cost of borrowing is interest. So when you go, borrow and you invest. If you invest, you're going to see the growth in the economy. So you did not see what is called the multiplier effect. You don't see things growing up fast. It was placed in the bank. And so the young people said, no. What? Well, the young people say, you pay out the pension, we give you the time. Our turn now. So the election was June 2022. They say, well, we give you a year. June 23. Then June 24 come. They meet with the Prime Minister and the other ministers. Say, well, we give you 2 years, to fix up, to fulfill your promise now. We want to hear from you. You see, we're going to introduce a pension scheme for you. You that are there, come in, join the work now, or those who did not have permanent. But you will have to contribute. So you will have to contribute 3%. And the government will contribute. And at the same time, listen that, I don't want you to miss that point. At the same time, they're contributing to NS, They both, So they're contributing to NS, and they have to contribute to this new pension scheme in order to benefit. So them young people say, well, hold on, but that is not what you promised us. So you take it out, money from NS. Now you take it out 3%. Then you said you're going to bring national health insurance, and you say we got to pay. Say, well, when you finish, we will have money. So they decide that is the way they have to go, because if they don't do that, they said the country is going to go bankrupt. So the young people now up in arms. Every day I meet them. Lord, we're real sorry we voted out NNP, He said, you don't see what them people doing us? He said, but we told you so. We told you so. Now they are regretting. And they're saying to us, we can't wait to get rid of them. Because they real fool us and promise us all kind of things. And so they say, next time, they wouldn't hold us. Next time, no promise they could come with. So that's the young people. You know what the elderly is saying? The working class, the houses that were given to us, the government of Grenada, by the People's Republic of China, for distribution. You have to pay for it, $50,000 for a 1-bedroom unit and $75,000 for a 2-bedroom. They're selling all, Even in a disaster, in Karikou, you have a house, 100 housing units. Nobody, not in the house. They did not give the people, They the people in the school and on the tent, and you have 100 units lying there. Huh? Totally against the poor. You go to Current. Do you know that Current has 226 housing units? 226. So no one is, they have not sent anyone there because of the disaster. You know, it's there and top the hill. So Carnival, no, I had to wrap up. Minister Bowen time in me, so I had to wrap up. So Carnival time. A partner might come down for Carnival. He see them houses looking so lovely and things. He said that's the houses they build that the Republic of China built. I say yes. I said that is the house you were supposed to give. I say, and your grandmother was supposed to get one, you know. He said yes. I hear she talking about that every day. How should I get one? And the government changed and now she stay in the same old house. I said, so what are you going to do? You go buy one for her? He said, buying one for myself. When I come on holiday, I go use it. Holiday homes you have up there now, you know. A few people in the diaspora buy the houses, you know. Not only in St. David's, you know. Other places, they buy them. And he boasting, he say, watch, I live in Canada, I buy it cash. He say 25,000 Canadian, I buy that cash, man. So when I come on holiday, I'll stay in it. I say, but that is not the purpose of the house. The house is for the working class people. I'm going to lift them up. Just give them good accommodation. So that's the sort of thing we're facing now in Grenada. So, brothers and sisters, I'm pleased to be here to share with you. And you've been such a good audience. I just want to leave two things with you from all that I said tonight. One, continue to give your full support to the new National Party. Secondly, encourage your children to register. Encourage the children, your friends, so that when the next election call, we will be ready. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Joseph. I could listen to Brother Oliver all night. Michael and get permanent now. You know what is the government's problem? They too lie. And you know what is my problem with them? They put up their salary, yet they cannot deliver. I remember a certain minister said, why cap gas at 15 when we can do it for less? I didn't think he understood what the word less meant. Brothers and sisters, one thing is for certain. The new National Party delivers. Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, it is my honor to introduce the deputy political leader of the new National Party. He has a wealth of experience in governance and public policy. Mr. Bowen has been a driving force behind initiatives aimed at fostering national development and economic resilience. His dedication to the well-being of Grenadians and his strategic vision for the future have made him a respected leader in our community. Brothers and sisters, please join in welcoming Brother Gregory Bowen.
Thank you very much, Madam Chairperson. I recognize Dr. the Right Honorable Keith Mitchell, our political leader, the chairman of our party, Brother Oliver Joseph, and we recognize Mr. Dwight Horsford in absentia. We recognize your own political lead, and thank you for the welcome that you gave to all of us. We recognize with us Brother Oliver, and such a stalwart person with us and the new National Party, not from now, but from time memorial. He has been there with us. And all of you, my zonal brothers and sisters, know we are a team, a group. And we will recognize and heed all that Brother Dwight told us, all that Brother Oliver tell us, and all that speakers after will tell us. We know what we have to do. We have seen our plight. We are feeling the pinch. And brothers and sisters, you could traverse throughout Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique, you will hear it. Oh God, we're feeling it. When you're coming back, I say, but you weren't the first person that out there voting. He say, well, you know, forgive me. Forgive us. People are meeting my relatives, my family, all good, strong NNPs. And they're saying, it is time to come back. It is time to come back. But brothers and sisters, you see, they are feeling the pinch, and perhaps they cause the problem. But you and I, who are out there safeguarding democracy and safeguarding our livelihoods, we are feeling the pinch too. What the Bible says, for the wheat and for the tares. Everyone in it, my brothers and sisters, we are suffering. And they are counting on the new National Party to come back and to be there for them. They know we love people, brothers and sisters. And one thing they recognize, you don't just come out of a schoolroom and take on a job. A job of this magnitude, brothers and sisters. Let me remind you, in 2008 to 2013, when the NDC was in office, do you know what the team of the new National Party did? Yes, we recognize that we had to rescue the nation. But every day and every night, June 2008 to 2013, when we were out of office, we gathered a team of professional and knowledgeable people. And we worked day and night to put a plan together. When they were selling assets to pay salaries, we say, no, well, Grenada would be there after a while. So we put a team together, brothers and sisters, professionals, people who understand, people who know about governance, people who know about the international institutions. We put that team together and we had a plan. That is why, as soon as we got into office in 2013, we could have hit the road running. Running, brothers and sisters. Because we had a plan, prepared for the international community. And let nobody tell you otherwise. Without the help of the international community, Grenada would never have surfaced. We had gone too far down into the doldrum. So when we have the plan, and we put it forward to the IMF, and we put it forward to the World Bank, and we put it forward to the other financial institutions, on the platform, we told you what we were going to do, you know. We spoke to the unions. We spoke to the churches. We spoke to the business community. All of them were losing the property, losing the businesses. People were losing their cars. You used to watch into what was Barclays. You used to watch into the backyard. Cars were just in there. And they didn't know what to do with it. The homes were being sold. People's houses were being sold. And then they come to us after in 2008 to 2013, and they will say, no, God, I wonder what we did. Help us. Help us. I want to put on record our thanks to the team led by Dr. the Right Honorable Keith Mitchell and the rest of the new National Party. Because many of us could have left and gone and say, but we must always remember the few good ones, the few who stood up, and the few who saw where we were going. and the few who fought with us to the end. These give you the encouragement to stand up and fight with your people in Grenada, Carriacou, and the PT Martinique. Brothers and sisters, we were able to tell you that we were going to approach the IMF on the platform. We were going to approach the World Bank. That is why when we came out with what we called this voluntary structural adjustment. In other words, these institutions were not forcing us to do anything. We told them that we knew what to do. We know what to do before they. And when we give them a plan, it is a well plan. They accepted that plan. And we moved from strength to strength. But the first year and the first few months when we were struggling to pay finances and so forth, Dr. Dwight Honorable Keith Mitchell was finance minister at the time, supported by myself and many other professionals. We did what we have to do, and the country came out of it. You must know, because when they tell you that NNP did nothing, tell them NNP people save Grenada, Carriacou, and PT Martinique. My brothers and sisters, and just to give you a broad synopsis. So those listening out there, instead of going to report and listening for little errors in the clips, to run and say things, take out a pen and a notebook and listen. Listen. And it is not because the new National Party said it, you do it. But brothers and sisters, it's a different thing to take and write, you know. It's a different thing to implement. It is not easy. So we looked at the economy. And how do we grow the economy? We grow the economy by capital works and by projects. So what did they say when they see the many capital works going on? The concrete government. The concrete government. But, brothers and sisters, it is those projects that put jobs on the table. It is those projects where people gather around. And it is those projects from which you can buy food to feed you and your children, brothers and sisters. So the projects were all part of the plan. And remember, they said, and I heard a lot of our supporters, you know, following them, well, what NNP did, the projects were not in isolation. Let me just call a few for you, and then you'll link it to how they grew the economy and how people benefited. One, and I would not spend a lot of time because there are so many. I have many more to call. You remember the agricultural feeder roads, phase 1? We did all, it will go down? Good. And in each agricultural feeder road, you have a minimum of 11 projects. So 1, and you have 11 roads. Remember, I'm staying close to the south. Remember White Gun to the Cliff? When the Queen had to come here, that road was marked and done with her. It was not done because of her. Maybe the British ambassador heard that we were going to do that road, and he said, I'm going to pass the Queen there. Okay? Then Nawassa. Remember Nawassa and the leak detection program? In Grand Anse, you got no water. But we came together and bought all the new pipes, removed the old broken pipes. We had a leak detector. You're pushing along with a meter. Remember, you see the people walking along the meter, and a man told me, oh, we are leak there. I said, stay there for 1 hour. And when Nawassa blew, the water came out. So we repaired the mains, particularly along the Grand Anse Road and throughout Grenada, Carriacou, and PT Martinique, to bring water to the south, to the business sector, and to you, the people. Yes? So it's a project. But what is happening? The hotel belt is getting water when they could not get water and guests had to leave. Good. We had the Nawassa reservoir upgrade. So you fix the main. Where is the water coming from? So we got the project and we refurbished a significant quantity of dams and reservoirs. And we laid the line, and they came down to the south. In fact, some people, if you pass at the top side, you're going up the Concord, they say, well, you're just taking the water and going down there with it. So we distributed properly. But we spoke to them as we spoke to the unions and the business community and tell them, you walk in the south. How many people had to go home because the hotels didn't have water? And when you tell them, they understood. Everyone in the south got water, and the hotel and community belt got water with it. Yes. No, it's not only those projects. CACIP, the Caribbean Communication Infrastructure Project. That is to do with telecommunications, brothers and sisters. The world was moving and continues to move rapidly forward, and you must have IT and telecommunications. So we ensure that every school, every community center, every hospital, every government and public places are equipped with communication, and the cables coming to this. Right now, you have that. That is why people can go into these community centers and do their homework and study, brothers and sisters. So we are advancing our education. We had the cruise ship terminal. Remember tourism? The boats couldn't come, problems, and so we gave the cruise ship terminal. They said that it will flood Granans Beach, didn't they? But they forget who was in charge of infrastructure. It was your humble servant, Gregory Bowen. We did all the modeling along the port, along the Granans Beach. When people ask me down there with a little boat, he said, well, we're going to catch flying fish. No, those were the models going out there. And we knew exactly where the water will pile up, where it will come, and where it will run. No problem when they were saying that this thing would happen. We had the agricultural feeder road phase 2. Another 13 roads, brothers and sisters. The Grenville market, the Surtees market, the St. George market later. All of those things were done. And they were not done just to become a wood or a concrete as in government. It was done so that the economy can grow and you can get food on the table. You can get the necessary resources to send your children to school. You have to know about economy, you know. You have to know about how a country runs. Yeah? Then we had the ministerial building. Okay? We have that because a lot of our ministries were isolated and scattered about. When I want to see somebody in that department, I have to drive across or call on the phone. No, we simply walk to an office, sit down in this minister's office or this permanent secretary's office, and we discuss and come up with a solution directly to cabinet decision, effect, and implementation. That we cut down the time of doing business significantly through this building. A lot of money, yes, but the economy benefited. Brothers and sisters, we had the Chinese-funded airport. Remember that? Now they're saying what? We built it. But I remembered the negotiations with the Chinese ambassador to get that project going. And that project is about runway, apron, externals. The externals are still going on. And so, internals, the tower, and you have the passenger boarding bridge. That is what they said, oh, they did that. And they brought that. Brothers and sisters, it was the new national party with the foresight to increase our tourism, to increase our visitors, and to ensure that you have no complaints in Grenada where the rain wet me to get onto the plane. No, brothers and sisters. We saw all of this, and all of these projects, it's about to bring food on your table, to bring health benefits to you. Then we had the hospital wing addition. Remember that? We had a lot of those things. When we said the flow was just a little bit too shallow or too low to take a particular piece of equipment. We simply remodeled and we got all the equipment necessary for our health system into this new wing, brothers and sisters. Now, we were approached too, by certain investors who said they want to build a new hospital. Yes, we were approached. So I got the people, the hierarchy of the Ministry of Health, the public servants, and I brought them into the meeting with me. So I say, how will you pay the workers? They say, give me all the money in the budget. You listening? All the money in the budget for health, over $130 million at that time. I say, okay. Well, will you take all the staff members? Maybe they'd like to work in this big new environment you build. And we had to borrow, to build the money, to build the hospital. So the public servants are sitting there. I say, even if we want to let them go, we have to convince them to ease up the situation by not taking any severance pay and by going and work in this new environment. But they say they have some new people and they want some new people too. I say, good, I would accept that. But where is the money coming from to pay your people when you already take all the monies that I have to pay my public servants and go forward? I said, let me hear the solution. Well, they came once, they came twice, they came 3 times after, and I did not hear them again. I'm mentioning this to say, when you hear these big promises of, we will do this, we will do that, unless the European Development Bank, unless the British Assistance Program, unless CEDA, unless USAID will give you grant to build a new hospital and will help you finance the new set of staff, then brothers and sisters, we're going down the drain. Maybe when they saw the $500 million there, perhaps in their mind they said, well, we're going to build a new hospital. Yes, you could build a new hospital, but when you do things with that, brothers and sisters, it's not that you shouldn't do, it's how to do it. It's to make all your ducks line up and to ensure that input equal to output. If you don't do that, the housewives will know. As you take out more than you put in a little hole, and in a bigger hole, and in the next hole. And what the shopkeeper tell you, don't come back. Starts there. And you can't buy this, you can't buy it. You can't send your children to school. You cannot do anything. So you must manage your business, just as you, the housewives, manage your homes. That is why you could continue to send your children to school in this dismal time. Brothers and sisters, remember UK SIF, that's the UK grant, Caribbean Infrastructure Facility. Jamaica got some money. I think there was a lot of quarrel about what you give me money to build prison for us, but we're not going there. Grenada got some, Belize got some. Brothers and sisters, we have planned already to fix the sleeping mall in here, and we had started. We had to do designs, we had to change designs because you don't bring a design to me, No, that road is of particular interest. And it is important because if you get a wrong design, after you build your entire beautiful new road and some trucks passing on this new road, the whole hill could come down. So I took a special interest. I took a special interest by looking and speaking with the consultants. And you know what they did? They got one of the best. He lectured to us in soils in Trinidad and Tobago. And we got him from Canada and the UK. And he was part of the design team. That is when they say it's too costly. We will get some of our beautiful Cuban friends, who are here for them to do it. Well, Papa, after what, a month? And they run back. And they have to take back the same guy and the same team. And I only know that a few of the persons, Grenadians, who are part of the design, they have our interests at heart. Because I say, there shall be no error for lives to be lost after. It's a dismal thing. It's a project that has to be worked. So everything you see went into there, and more than one site onto it, brothers and sisters. Now they said, well, you hear the time already. It should be, January, and it should be then, it will be December, and then it might be next January, and next December. What we say that we're calling upon them to get this road project completed. A significant quantity of the proprietary work has gone in place already. And that was grant from the UK government. We all remember the playing fields and the lighting, just to remind us some of the things to keep our people occupied. What I want to really talk to you about, you remember, brothers and sisters, beryl destroyed crops, things do that, they sow the fruit in the melon. All of you, we know that you, the farmers here, are hurting. But I want to take your mind back so that you remember COVID-19? COVID-19 was a big distress player for our country. Ivan went a long way ago. So brothers and sisters, we had a debt to GDP ratio. Our target was 55%, planned since 2013. We got it down from already over 100, and we brought down the debt to GDP ratio. We brought it right down to 57.7. Yes, the New National Party did that. And just to reach to 55, when we would have turned everything around and started to expand, then COVID came. It went back up to 70. After, because we had to borrow. It went down again. And now we're there in a situation where all of things are difficult. Now I want to remind you about the farm roads that we did. All the people in the north of the country, they benefited. Now the hurricane has destroyed all the crops. And you have gotten $118 million from the CRIF. And nothing for our farmers. We're calling on this government to ensure that the money is well allocated and spent on the farmers as small businessmen so that we can bring back our agricultural sector. And there is a lot more to be done, brothers and sisters. Now, what are we doing? We're doing the same thing as 2008. We're going through all that is necessary to bring back our people. Now, our buffers are blown away, $500 million gone. It is up to you, though, to ensure that we remind the people what the New National Party did and how we work together. Water, telecommunication, roads, electricity, and all the sectors. But it is not for a concrete government. It is to build the economy of this country so that you, our people, can benefit. And remember your task now, brothers and sisters, is to go out there and remind the people, because at the last election, people were just silent and they were saying they did nothing. I only call less than a quarter of the projects. At another time, we'll call a lot more. So we look forward towards your commitment, towards your support, as the New National Party moves around, goes from corner to corner to bring the information, and we count on you, besides the canvas, to bring that word out there to the people of Grenada, Carriacou, and the Petit Martinique. Thank you.
Thank you, Brother Bowen. Thank you, Brother Bowen. I have met youths who've said to me that they're sorry. Sorry for putting their trust in the present administration and that they are ashamed. I say to you, we forgive you because you knew not what you did. And I say to you, welcome home because there is space in the house for you. The house is solid and the pillars are still strong. NNPites, let them know that the pillars in the house are still strong and we will remain standing and we will rescue Grenada. Brothers and sisters, he is a prominent statesman and former Prime Minister of Grenada with a career spanning over 3 decades. Dr. Mitchell has been a transformative leader, championing economic growth, education, and sustainable development in our nation. His visionary approach and unwavering commitment to the people of Grenada have earned him both national and international respect. Brothers and sisters, join in welcoming your political leader of the new National Party.
No, you have to sit down. Well. I think you all got a mouthful already tonight. Anyone come here tonight and say they can't go home happy and feeling that you receive a lot of food for thought? Something had to be wrong with the brains. And I know people listening on the live platforms. They cannot believe what they're hearing tonight. I just want to recognize the chairman of our party, Brother Oliver Joseph, Brother Deputy Political Leader, the man who just spoke to you, and Brother Dwight Horsford, who left a while ago, and Brother Nimrod, who's here with us. But you know something I want to say? I will not keep you long because I think you got enough food. So I won't keep you long. You know, we have a lot of soul searching to do in Grenada, you know. We as a people. Now we have a government of people that don't have a clue about running anything. People in their own lives have been failures. People that did not understand government, how it runs. But they are governing the country. They are in charge. And you have somebody in the South here. Well, I don't know what all you have down in the South. I don't know what all you have. But all you have something. But friends, listen carefully. You listened to Brother Oliver tonight? Yes. And he spoke to you in very simple terms about the whole question of how we operated in government and how we prepared the country for further success, taking care of the pension of our workers, but being honest with them. We tell them what the possibilities are and how we can do it together, and every one of us will benefit. What he was saying in effect, why we couldn't give all the money one time to one group is because we have the other people in the country to take care of. So he said, let's come and sit down together. We'll pay the pension. But we have to take care of the senior citizens' old age pensions. We have to take care of the farming community. We must do the road work in the country. We must take care of the children going to school, because if you don't have a foundation in your education, you have no country. So we can't spend the money just on one group of persons as much as they deserve it and legally they have the right. But we must do it in phases so that we can all benefit and everybody get something. In other words, everybody must get a bite out of what we have. That's what we were saying in simple terms. You listen, Brother Dwight Horsford is here with us. This brother was a former, just left Anguilla as the Attorney General for several years, one of the leading legal luminaries in the Caribbean. He gave up a lot of US dollars to come here back in Grenada to help this country, sisters and brothers, with a tremendous level of experience again. And he's a young man, but young with a lot of experience to help to build this country. And you listen to Brother Bowen. You wonder how Bowen could be sitting at home right now with not being in government, with all that information, with all that level of knowledge, with all the expertise. He's not there. This nonsense going up in Molyneux would never happen if Gregory Bowen and the New National Party was still in office. They have spent millions more dollars already and they ain't finished nothing yet. In fact, when they came in, they say, oh, NNP are doing nonsense. And that, the person you have down here, he was a minister, you know, and he played engineer, you know. I don't know, he went one day in school, but he's an engineer. We lost the election and they won the election in June. The man come up in Happy Hill at Molyneux and he say, NNP ain't doing nothing. We finishing the work in December. That December 22, you know. He said, you know, when you do know something, when you give somebody power and they don't know nothing, talk. And you know what the man said? He said he has no original ideas. In other words, anything somebody give him, he take it. That's what you have down here, you know. It's not me that said, not me. My friends, in have sitting here tonight is it Brother Nimrod who is here with us tonight. Brother Nimrod Olivier. This brother is here. You know what this brother had done? He was a top police officer in New York. A full American citizen. His salary that none of us could work for. He gave up his citizenship of America. And he gave up that lucrative salary and come back home to help his countrymen. That is the kind of people in the NNP that is sitting there in Grenada out of government. And you have some characters running the country. But that is what we did. And the truth is, they didn't take any gun and put in my head. We went in the ballot box and vote for them. And we say, we want a young man. We want I don't know what we wanted, but we get something we wanted. That is what we said. I am making the point. When we're choosing people to govern our future, because it's when you're electing people, it's not about voting for somebody you like, you know, or somebody who talk nice and who make promises, you know. It's people that can help you to improve your lives and improve the lives of the people of the country. That is what you're voting for. Not who dress nice, who talk nice, and who make all kinds of promises, who put in saltfish in water and selling it afterwards and things, so he could weigh heavier. That's not what you're voting for. You know, I didn't call no name, you know, I just saying what I hear. Right? So we have to be very careful, my friends. But you know where we are, and a few points I want to make. What concerns me, all of this is the history. But you know what worries me? Sisters and brothers, I have never, and I've been in government, I've been in the parliament for 40 years. I have never seen more spite, more hate, more vindictiveness, more greed, more selfishness. I have never seen. Every human being have weakness. but I have never seen a collective level of problems in any group of persons, especially when that group of persons are supposed to be managing the affairs of the country and doing things to make sure everyone can benefit and move forward. My friends, what people don't know, the role of government is not about who become minister and who be prime minister and who get job and who don't get. It's about lifting the people that you're serving, lifting them up and making them better, sisters and brothers. So you make policies and programs that everyone can benefit and have opportunity. So if a guy is a good businessman and you want to take risk, the government policy gives him the opportunity to improve himself. If you're in the public service and you have initiative and you want to advance yourself, the government policy must give you the opportunity so you can move forward. If you're a police officer, the government must manage the police force so that people are treated with respect and promotion, and of course transfers are based on performance, not on vindictiveness and hate and spite. What all that I'm saying, sisters and brothers, one focus any government must have, and I can give you a lot of other things. The government must have programs to take care of those that cannot help themselves, sisters and brothers. But this government seems to hate the poor and vulnerable people in this country. Brother Oliver talked about the houses. These houses were negotiated by the New National Party in 2005 when we went to China, myself and the former Foreign Minister, Elvin Nimrod, who's now deceased. We went there and had discussions, and we agreed that they will build hundreds of houses, because Ivan had just destroyed us, sisters and brothers. And we agreed that the houses must go to the poor and vulnerable people in the country. Not those of us who are living abroad and have we home already and so on. And not those who can go to the bank in Grenada and get loans because they have a job and they have the equity to go to the banks. It was for the poor and vulnerable, and it was meant to be given to them as a grant with a payment for basic services. In other words, a small amount would have to be paid. It was never meant. Where a poor man who does not have a job, a poor lady who have 4 and 5 children, the husband or boyfriend abandoned them. She has no wealth. She has no bank account. But she needs a place to live. Where is she going to get the money to get a loan from a bank? Where is she going to get it? So the minute you say go to the bank, you're saying you're wiping off most of the people that's supposed to get the houses. But I think it's a deliberate act. This government came in as vengeance for the poor people of Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique. And I heard them in Parliament one day saying, you know what they were saying? They say every time Dr. Mitchell and the NNP open their mouth only about the poor and vulnerable, who the hell we want to talk about? We can talk about everybody else in the country, but we must have a focus for the poor and vulnerable in the society. That is what government is about. Even the great United States, with all the debate you hear taking place, let's talk about the poor and vulnerable and the middle class. A focus. Because the man who has money, the man who has his act together, don't need government help as much as the man who is serving, who needs the support at the ground level in the country. That's the man or the woman who needs government the most. And therefore, when we go in government, it's not about ourselves and our ego. But what these guys have done is despicable. It is frightening. They walk into the government and the first thing they do, they go and they raid the GDB bank. So the man you vote for here, well, I have to blame you, no. He get $2 million. He give you anything in it? As soon as they win, he get 2 million plus. Now tell me something. The bank is supposed to be by the poor people in the country to help them to increase business and to improve the development in the country. That's what the bank for, to help the farmers, to help small business persons, to help to lift them up. The bank was never meant to provide loans to ministers of government. In fact, one of the policies and the act that governs the bank says you cannot give monies to ministers of government. So they have broken a fundamental law. My friends, but they're in power, the bank is theirs, so they share in it. So what happened? They walk in and they're not satisfied. When they wait, they say, hey, they can't believe that there could be some money Oliver and them was getting. $6,000 something. They raised it overnight by $2,000. And in a few weeks' time, by another $4,000. And not a damn word you hear from anybody, from the unions and those who were making noise before. Not a word was heard. But if NNP had raised it by $2, you hear demonstration. So they raise the salary. My friends, so a minister of government today is picking up over $14,000. Just like that. And they get another 10 that they can spend in their constituency. So if they don't want to spend it right, they could do other things with it for themselves. I said that if they don't want to spend it right, I didn't say they spend it right. But you know some of them. You know some of them. So I hope, because one day I will ask for the reports of how these monies are spent, because I'm being very careful of how I spent the one they gave me that come in my constituency. Friends, so I'm making the point. This government has no interest in the people of this country. So, my friends, you have to understand this. You destroy the public service. People are being promoted who are not qualified. People who are taken from low down in the public service and made cabinet secretary overnight. And therefore it demoralizes the people at the top, because they say, well, wait, this person was not qualified. They take people from different positions who never had the training and make them top persons in the public service because they're supposed to be friends of the party. My friends, in government, the NNP never operated like this. Never operated like this. We believe that the persons who have made top position must be qualified, whether they name NNP or NDC. And colleagues, let me say why. This is not just a political statement I'm making. Let me tell you something. It's a serious political and economic statement I'm making here. I say to people over and over, and I'm sure my friends on the platform remember me saying so. If we have a job, and you give someone the job that voted for you just because they vote for you and they can't do the job, they will embarrass you and they cause you to lose a lot of votes because they will not be able to perform the job that which they were entitled, they were told to do, and they will cause you a lot of embarrassment. But if you have someone who is capable and will do the job well, but they didn't give you a vote, that person must get the job, because in the end, they'll make you look good and you will get a lot more votes, sisters and brothers. Don't play with that. And that is what killing this government, because they're choosing people based on who they perceive to be friends of the government. Friends, the same thing they did with the police force, so they destroyed the police. You notice a lot of policemen, they just walk in the street. Just watch. Them policemen just walk in the street, they're going through the motion because they are completely demoralized. They take your good commissioner of police and they abandon him overnight. And they take in a brother who will just say yes to everything they ask him to do. The commissioner tells somebody they're going somewhere to transferring them. A politician says, I don't want the man here. It can go. You ever hear that? The security of the country? People that don't have a clue about managing their own lives, some of them never had a job in their life, are deciding who should be transferred in police force and who should not be transferred. That's the kind of nonsense that's taking place. I ask the Commissioner of Police, please, tonight, stand up for your rights as Commissioner of Police. Don't let any politician, whether it's government or opposition, to tell you how to do your work. Because you are supposed to protect all the citizens of Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique, not just those in government. As I want to finish off, because I said I told you had enough tonight, but let me tell you something. Look at the economy, the state of the country. Everywhere you go, people balling. Look. Let me tell you something. They had some place in the country, different parts. When NNP was there, if you going through there, you had to know the time to go through, because place buzzing. All shops, people spending there, enjoying themselves, music playing and so on. A lot of parts of the country, my own constituency, all them shops closing down early. But that special place I always remember is the Lance in Guav. And they put the Lance to sleep. I never thought you'd see the Lance sleeping in your life. All you go up there and you're going to see what I'm talking about. The Lance sleeping early when they pass in there. So you look what they did when I tell you the focus about hurting poor people. They put VAT on sugar and tell you they want to stop diabetes. And these are doctor. And this doctor, and Dr. Andy, call him doctor when you see me, Dr. Andy. Doctor, VAT and water. So I wonder when they put VAT and water, what that for? Yeah? I thought you were supposed to encourage people to drink a lot of water. So I don't know what I want for, because they say the VAT and sugar is to stop you from using sugar and so on. But every poor person use a bit of sugar. So if you put VAT on sugar, I can buy it and not worry. But the poor man will feel it, because he must use some sugar. And he would have a problem, because he has to pay what I pay, and I can afford it, but he can't afford it. VAT and water? So that means you should bathe less. If not, you shouldn't bathe less. So as I said, I don't know what that one encouraging, but something encouraging. But here that one. We had put 25% reduction on the non-fuel charge in electricity and your electricity bill. NNP had that. They came in and they removed the 25% reduction. Not only that, my friends, we had removed the taxes on electricity that we had removed, and many of the taxes. They reintroduced all the taxes that we had removed. All that affect the poor man, because every poor man has to use electricity services. So you see the focus on attacking the poor man, because they know you put it on VAT on it and reintroduce VAT on electricity. I could pay it. Many of us could pay it, but the poor man has a problem. So when you see all your electricity bill going up, you know this government is the one. They tell us again, they're making things cheaper, so they go remove the cap on gasoline. You remember that? And because you will get lower. What is it today? Lower, I don't know, some of them may not be very good at English, So some of them might think lower means higher. So I have to say this, because if you promise something will get lower and it's higher today, that tells you something. So I'm making the point, my friends. The focus of this government is to attack the poor people of this country. So we have to know, we have to get ourselves ready. While we're having these meetings now, is to raise the temperature of our people, to make them understand what is taking place in the country, and that the new national party is there with you to protect this country and to remove that pain that is taking place in this country at this time. But we all must be together, sisters and brothers, and watch together to deal with this, because we cannot take this for 5 years, sisters and brothers. If they could change course and correct their action, no problem. But they cannot continue to do this to the poor people of this country and expect to be there for 5 years, sisters and brothers. And therefore, stay tuned with the new National Party. We'll continue in the meetings on Thursdays and Sundays. So every part of the country we are going to be there. And we are streaming live, so those of you who can't come, will watch it on the platforms, or because we're streaming all over the country. So we are there with you, sisters and brothers. So as long as you stand with us, we will rescue Grenada, Carriacou, and P.D. Martin. Good night.
Thank you, Dr. Mitchell. And I'll tell you something that my father would always say to me regarding business, but it applies to running a country as well. He said, anybody can run a country when it has money, but true leadership is shown when there is no money and the rubber hits the road and there is an empty treasury. So how do you come out of a mess like that? You heard Brother Oliver Joseph. The NNP took an empty treasury and made it into a pregnant one. Brothers and sisters, that is resilience, that is strength, and that is good leadership. And I want you to remember that when you go out to vote in the next election. Tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend of the good things that the new National Party has done for you and for us. NNPites, are you ready? Are you ready? Because we are ready to rescue you. I now invite Miss Roslyn Boris at this time to do the vote of thanks.
Good afternoon. NNPites! We are coming out of the wilderness. Good night to my people and to my beautiful gentlemen on the panel. Woo! What are you eating? All you coming out? We ready. The curtain has drawn and we waiting. To my people, my NNP family, I am here to say thank you to all my family who turn out. And to my ministers, drink Manish water, drink sea moss, no sugar, and we waiting. So I just want to say thank you to everybody. Oh God, I'm feeling so good tonight, eh? I'm feeling so good. The voice in the wilderness is here. And I am ready and waiting. Have a good night, everybody, and thank you.
Miss Boris bringing some heat, boy. NNPites, all ready to go home? My apologies. Well, now it's closing time. At this time, I call Mr. Andrew John to close us in prayer.
Good night, everyone. NNP, how do we feel? Well, that ship is beginning, as a matter of fact, we begin our sailing journey throughout the length and breadth of Grenada. Carriacou and Pitimatney, we're sailing until election. No sleep, we're sailing until election. Every leap and bound of this country. Amen. Our kind and ever-loving Father, tonight we thank you for the meeting which has been held tonight, for the ministers who are on the platform. Each and every one, give them guidance. I pray tonight, Father, for everyone in the audience. And I pray, Lord, that what we have heard here tonight, we will take it to the length and breadth of our relative, family, friends, loved ones, every village and community. We will spread the good news. My dear friend, we thank you, Lord, for the protection and guidance of one and all, and give us, oh God, continued protection as we go to our respective homes. And I ask you, oh God, to bless us together and live together as one family. And when the days come, O Lord, we shall say, O God, it is well done. Amen.
Thank you, Mr. John, and thank you, brothers and sisters. We love you. Get home safe.
Well done. Call them. Tell them. We fought in NNP again. Call them. Wake them. Tell them. Go out there and call somebody. Wake somebody. Tell somebody. Knock on the door by somebody. And when you say call somebody. Wake somebody. Tell them we vote in NNP election day. Go out there and call somebody. Wake somebody. Tell somebody. Knock on the door by somebody. Yeah. Call somebody. Wake somebody. Be election day. This country moving, and there's no turning back. So let's keep it going, cause we on the right track. I'm calling everyone. If you love this land, come on, everybody, and play your part. Go out there and call somebody. Wake somebody. Tell somebody. Knock on the door by somebody. And when you say call somebody. Wake somebody. Tell them we vote in NNP election day. Go out there and call somebody. Wake somebody. Tell somebody. Knock on the door by somebody. Yeah. Call somebody. Wake somebody. Tell them we vote in NNP election day. And when you say we all must agree that we come a long way with proper leadership, and we show together a leader with vision, a people champion. Call him Dr. Kid Claudius, get it done, cause he gonna do it. Call somebody. Wake somebody. Tell somebody. Knock on the door by somebody. And when you say call somebody.